I have an abundant supply of blow-up dolls that I'm happy to send you. An abundant supply of blow-up dolls? This is a message that I received from a friend in the UK who is the ex-director of one of the biggest educational publishing houses and whose name, of course, will not be mentioned. Does this mean he has so many he can do without a few? That he wants to clear out his stock so he has room for more? That he doesn't use them anymore? Use blow-up dolls? Let's not even go there. Another friend sent me this picture of her blow-up doll that travels all over the American continent, from Nova Scotia down to Texas, formerly her grandmother's favorite driving buddy. Is it anatomically correct? Listen, Janice's grandmother was no shrinking violet from what I understand, but some things are on a need-to-know basis, and I do not need to know what's under that coat. I received a flurry of messages about this seemingly innocuous detail about me starting out in biomagnetism and needing someone or something to practice on. I was serious about using a blow-up doll to solve my pair problem, innocently. But in the end, it turns out that they're more challenging to find than I expected. At least in Mexico, at least in Todos Santos, where it doesn't seem to be even a small ticket item. In the States, apparently, they're big ticket items. My sister found a ton of them online. I'll give you her email later if you want to know some of her favorite sites. Let's move on. It is time to keep moving ahead because a different solution is necessary to help me making a more deliberate transition from being a teacher trainer to an alternative healer. And so cheer you on in any changes you have decided to make since last week. And so I put on my teacher's hat momentarily because, as most teachers on the planet, creativity just comes oozing out of us when we start thinking about how to make learning exciting. And there are solutions that are not so controversial or seemingly pornographic. Solution 1. I found an old plastic tarp on the property and thought, I'll just cut it up into human form, draw some organs on it in their general location, and practice placing magnets on it and begin learning. Challenge. Have you ever wondered what type of writing utensil will show up on a black plastic tarp? Well, I spent the better part of an hour dragging this thing from one side of the property to the other and realized that nothing I could think of would do the job. If you have any ideas, please write them in the comments. I would really like to know. In the meantime, one solution nixed. Solution 2, a cardboard box. Now this was more promising, although I was back to step 1 because I needed a person to lie down on the cardboard box so I could draw a human form and didn't have anybody. I couldn't figure out how to do it by myself. And yet all of a sudden, people started coming out of the woodwork. I'd completely forgotten that there are workers periodically on the property. And it seems that lying down on a cardboard box under a fan inside is much more inviting than working outside in 120-degree weather. You may not be surprised that my favorite groundskeeper here lay on the floor for quite a while, even after I told him I was finished, all done. Thank you, Julian. Another solution. Enriqueta, she works in the house once a week, and she practically jumped up on the table when I asked her if she'd like to be my very first client. She was incredible. She just lay there for an hour, not really aware that I had virtually no idea what I was doing. Or maybe she knew and decided after weighing the options, she was much happier lying on the kitchen table. Fun fact, it turns out that she has severe chronic back pain. And when I told her she could get up, she couldn't. As we say in Spanish, archivado. Something to remember to ask before you gently push someone on their back on the table before beginning treatment. Can they get up? So, what are the wins this week? Well, now I have a plastic tarp that I need to drag back across the property. Not really a win, but I have a client I'll see once a week, and now looking forward to having her back completely healed. Note to self, find out how to do that. A cardboard box that I can now place organs on. I just have to draw, cut out, and place them in the right places. It turns out that I'm going to really need to pay attention to this part because it's actually kind of surprising where some of our organs are. Did you know that the liver is in the upper part of our chest and not below the belly button? Who knew? What more extraordinary anatomical facts am I going to learn in this journey? So now I'm off to study. You're probably thinking, yes, and a lot, please. Week 2 of Biomagneticism. Do I miss my teacher training workshops yet? Not even close. I'm having a blast. It's like being on a precipice and having no idea what the next step is going to bring. Just enjoying the breeze until I find out. So, see you again next week for a journey into becoming an alternative healer, and think about what challenges all this incites in you to make a big pivot and change in your lives. See you soon.